Good afternoon. This is Clark Neighbors with BIS Commodities in Cedar Rapids, Iowa with the market update for the final week of January 2019. In a nutshell, grain-wise, fairly quiet week, which has been the common denominator here for some time, especially longer term in comparing current corn prices, current preen prices in a variance of a trading range going all the way back to last June. And we've spent basically 85% of the time in March corn in roughly a 20-cent trading range over that time frame. So market continues to look for new news, and at some point that'll come, but in the meantime, for this week, corn basically 1 to 2 lower, soybeans 5 to 6 cents higher. We did see a bounce in wheat this week, with wheat up roughly 15 cents. Much of that again is due to thoughts or concerns about black seed production and the U.S. becoming more competitive in the world wheat market. Keep in mind also, when you're talking about competitiveness in the world markets, U.S. corn is in that picture right now also, so that's something positive going forward. Macro-wise, that has quieted down to some degree. Volatility in the stock market has backed off a lot here in the last couple weeks. Some are concerned about some slowing growth in the world economy, and China is the culprit of that, with slower growth here announced on Monday. Slowest growth they've seen in like 28 to 30 years. So those are things to keep in mind. Slow growth sometimes can have a dampening effect on commodities, whether it's energies, grains, or whatever. A few highlights this week. This afternoon, President Trump and several of the government officials announced the government will open again for 3 weeks, trying to hammer out the budget along with concerns on border security, and that would go till February 15th. Now, with that in mind, government workers, I assume, go back to work. At this time, there has not been any announcement as when USDA numbers would be shared in the public. The presumption is 2 weeks from today, February 8th, which was the next USDA report. That would probably fit the bill, but we'll keep you posted on that. Other reports like commitment to traders report, cattle on feed report, export sales, we'll just see how those come out in the meantime also. Late next week, January 30th and 31st, China and the U.S. Get together with a higher level trade talks. Keep in mind that 90-day window that has been talked about comes due around the 1st of March. Many in the trade feel there's been some progress made in these talks. Do we see some sort of announcement next week or shortly thereafter? To be determined, but there seems to be some confidence something will be put together by the 1st of March. Weather, at least here in the U.S., very cold temperatures, in fact some of the coldest in years here in the upcoming week, is going to have some impact on logistics, not only just physically moving things, but also potential ice for barge movement on the Illinois River and some other locations. So those are interesting things to watch. That can bring some opportunities. Short-term basis levels have jumped dramatically in some areas. Locally here in eastern Iowa, for example, we've seen basis in corn jump 10 plus cents this week and on into next week, just because of the weather situation. So basis wise, this could give a little bounce in both corn and bean basis. We'll see going forward as far as how long term that could be. Spreads mostly steady, still seeing large carries in both the corn and the beans. South American weather continues to have some issues as far as keeping the crop size trimmed. As time wears on, we'll have a better idea where that final production number is, but most still feel the final bean number for both Brazil and Argentina will still be above last year's values. And that's important to keep in mind, because even with a trade pack put together for March through October with current CIF values, etc., the U.S. is really not competitive in the world market once you get into that 6-month window. So again, things to watch this week: weather, the trade talks at the end of the week, and also just when we start seeing some more information coming out of the USDA. As many in the market would say, we've been going blind as far as marketing information here for a month or so. So if you have any questions, feel free to call us at BIS Commodities. Phone number is 800-373-2525, or on the web, biscommodities.com. With that, everyone have a very warm, a nice weekend.